Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody out there that's listening to the show or watching the show. This is Dave Emmons with the Strange Reality show, and I come up with a lot of expert guests and people who've done research and they've been working in it for some time, and I applaud those people that's doing that because sometimes I was just telling my guest Betsey Lewis, she's going to be my guest. I was telling her I'm getting wore out from like watching orbs and things of that nature, and I want to get into the real deep science of this, the psychology of it. And I will be working with a group that's called CEI Mix, CMix, and it's Dr. Federico Vidal, and there's a lot of people, big time people on this committee. It's not a committee, it's an organization, and I'll be working on that. I'll probably be teaching some classes on UAPs and that type of thing. That's what Dr. Federico wants me to do. So I will be doing that, but I want to get into this thing deeper and for the psychology purposes of it, mind control and what these ETs are really up to.
Mhm.
Because we can watch them in the sky all we want, and we can see these UFOs. I've seen six of them up close, so I don't get really, shaky whenever I see one. I've seen them before. And Betsey Lewis is the same way. She's had her experiences. And
Right.
my guest, Betsey Lewis, and I know she's been on the show before, and you guys liked her, and we're gonna have her do another one here, and we're gonna probably go for about an hour, maybe a little few minutes over. We have to, but we want to get this done. And but she's got a lot to talk about. I mean, we can talk to her all day long. And Betsey Lewis, she's an author, radio host, and Earth Mysteries investigator. Betsey Lewis is a gifted international psychic. Oh, she can read my mind too. It's considered one of the best in her field. Her first paranormal UFO encounter took place with her parents at the age of 8 months old. And at 3 years of age, she began communicating with the spirit guides. At age 7, she began receiving frightening dreams of disastrous earth changes now taking place worldwide. That is very true, also. But I don't know. I think it's cyclic. It may not just be, the Green New Deal, whatever it is, but the place worldwide after a UFO encounter, she visualized all this with these UFO encounters. They do download to you. I know that for a fact, and they upload things and download, and they reading your mind. They can do it through frequencies. Encounter while walking home from elementary school in Idaho. For the past 40 years, Betsy investigated alien stories, UFO sightings, ancient petroglyphs in the Northwest, and conducted field investigations into bizarre cattle mutilations, probably with Linda Moulton Hall, right? Maybe.
No, on my own. I was with, well, Tom Adams. He was out of Paris, Texas.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, we need a second opinion. That's, and
Yeah.
the bizarre cattle mutilations throughout the Northwest. She studied under two Native Americans in the 1990s. Now they know more than what they're telling us a lot of times,
Hmm.
bring
That's
indigenous
right.
spirituality. In 2018, Betsy was a keynote speaker at the Stargate to the Cosmos Conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She has been a featured guest on Coast to Coast AM, Ground Zero, Fade to Black, K Core's Hyperspace, and I was a host on K Core for about a year,
Were you? Yeah.
and so I know that
Right.
station quite well.
Hmm.
Tina, yeah, Tina is
Tina, right?
she's the boss. She is.
She is the boss. Yeah, she is.
And other popular radio shows. She correctly predicted Donald Trump's 2016 presidential win on Newsmax months before Trump was elected, and she predicted Trump's win in 24. She's had authored 30 plus nonfiction paranormal books and three children's books available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Ventures Unlimited Press. Visit Betsy's website and daily Earth news blog at Betsy Lewis, all one word, .com. And Betsy, kudos to writing all those books. My
Oh,
goodness.
thank you.
I just wrote four and I'm
I
wore
don't
out.
know how I do it, but I can't stop. They're just
Yeah.
flowing. I can't turn it off. It's like a faucet.
Wow, that's great. That's great. You're helping
Yeah,
enlighten people. And there's about 50% of the people out there, maybe more, that don't believe too many things. You tell them things
hmm,
to you, and even have witnesses, and it doesn't really count because they got to see it for themselves. That's
right.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, in time, they'll open their eyes, they'll awaken.
But for us, like you and I and other people that are struggling to get this word out and enlighten people and get people
Hmm.
to know the truth, in
Sure.
history they've been lying to us so much,
Oh
so
my
much
goodness.
lying. and now it's spread into the culture, the politics.
It's,
Just, it's yeah. How are we going to get anything done?
I know. How can we believe anything they say
Yeah,
anymore? It's
really,
all
really.
lies. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's been going on for decades now.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look in the internet. Actually, they do show you some stuff that goes on in the internet, and you get
Hmm.
that tidbit, and you find out that okay, if I hear from three sources, then it must be true. A lot of
Hmm.
times with these when they have these internet stories like riots in the streets or what's going on in
Oh,
certain,
yeah. Fake news.
we don't, yeah, we don't know what's really going on.
Well, that's
And
true.
then the
That's
fake
true.
news, they don't even cover it, you know.
No.
And even the stations that call the other stations fake news, they don't even cover it a lot of times. They don't
Right.
tell us the nitty gritty. They don't
Hmm.
get into the UFOs that are still being spotted. They're still being seen,
Oh, yeah. They're increasing. It's
yeah,
getting worse. The orbs, people are
yeah,
seeing them everywhere. There's certain areas that they're seeing them, especially off the coast, like
yeah,
the East Coast, New England, Catalina Island. I mean, there's all over. And these are portals that are
right.
all over the earth.
What do you think about the motherships that's offshore down in Florida they're talking about? Is that true? Is that,
I don't know about that. I haven't heard about that one,
I'm
but
not sure
no,
either, but
I haven't heard that yet.
yeah.
No,
So
Dave, I don't know. Half that stuff that's
yeah,
on YouTube
AI,
is
chat GPT or whatever, they can come
hmm.
up with anything anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
And look what they can do with AI now. They can create anything they want. So
right,
what is real and what's, what I call Memorex,
right.
we don't
I,
know what's real anymore.
I think both of us have changed our appearance in the last few months,
Yeah.
and but you're prettier than I am though. See,
Oh,
I
thank
just try.
you.
I tried to kind of, be
I
a
like
little
the beard.
yeah, a little different, but I look like
Hmm.
Santa Claus, don't I?
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah.
Betsy, tell us what you're doing right now and
At the
what's
moment, I'm talking to you, Dave.
yeah, okay. I mean,
Kidding.
right. Okay, you got me. You got me. Okay. But no, what are you up to? And are you still investigating? Or you got any projects in mind?
Well, I'm kind of doing it on the sideline. I've had a lot of talk shows through the years. I started in 2009 with my
Yeah.
Rainbow Vision
Yeah.
network, and I had every kind of person on there. Andrew Collins, you name it. I had everybody on there. But and then I went to Sirius with K-Core, and then my last show was Stargate with Blog Talk Radio, and they quit. They just suddenly decided they didn't want to do it anymore. So I don't have a platform anymore.
Well, that was K Core quit or did
No, no, this is Blog Talk Radio. Yeah,
okay. All right. Uh
yeah. So
you
I'm
have
just writing books right now.
yeah, and yeah, 30 something books and I only wrote four and I feel like I'm wore out. I'm exhausted. Uh
Well, that's a lot. That's great.
I want to start on another one though. It's just in reality. It's going to be about my interdimensional buddies that are around me a lot. And
Hmm.
okay, here's let's start over with this story, and then we'll get into your book. I was just in Facebook today, and I picked it up. Your sister died in 2003, and
That's right.
she was in Argentina.
Yeah, she
And
went there just before she died.
okay,
Yeah,
could
her
you tell,
husband's from there.
yeah, could you tell us what you said you had electronic problems?
Oh my
Tell us
gosh,
what
she did
about that.
all kinds of things.
Okay,
Shortly after she passed, before we moved into another house, there were some chimes that she had given me, and we hung them up on a little sapling outside. And suddenly, one day, there was no wind, there was no, the whole thing started shaking like crazy. And my husband looked at me like, what in the world is going on here? And that was one incident. And then when we moved to another place, things really got crazy. It was it was totally nuts. And I think because we had these great big, huge uh, lines up there, energy lines, that she was actually using that. We had talked about these things before she had passed, and I told her, you're pure energy, and that pure energy can do anything. You just think of where you want to be or what you want to do, and you're there instantly. So our cat freaked out one day in the hallway. I had a photo of Kathy up there, and he just freaked. And I picked him up and I said, Kathy, I know it's you. And I tried to tell him it's okay. You know, he settled down. We had a TV turn on in the middle of the night and it freaked me out. I thought somebody had broken into our house. And then we had a radio that we put in the kitchen. And, I kept saying prayers to her. It's okay for you to move on. You don't have to stick around. And one day that morning, I walked in. The song that was playing was the Jackson 5, Never Say Goodbye. And suddenly it turned off right
Wow.
as I came into the kitchen. So I knew it was Kathy. And that's when I caught that orb up there.
Hmm.
And let's see, there was the car horn went off by itself. It just started sounding one day. It was sitting in the garage. There was no vibration. There was nothing to set it off. There was that. I saw kind of a what I would call an energy one time in the hallway. So I knew it was her. What else was happening? The lights were going on. And then she started messing with my husband's computer all the time. And
Really,
he was so mad at her. She loved to mess with it, turning it off, doing all kinds of things. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. And she, I think she's watching over her grandchildren now in Houston, Texas.
really. How old was
Yeah,
she when she passed?
she was 50 when she passed.
Oh, that's rough.
Smoker,
Yeah.
it doesn't work when you're smoking so much. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody can attribute that sometimes to an early death if somebody drinks a lot, uh,
right.
like my dad did, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't die early. He died at 75, but he
Oh,
could have
that's
lived longer
good.
if he didn't drink. But that's the thing. People, they push themselves, their lives
Mm-hmm.
be, doing these bad habits, drugs,
Yeah.
smoking,
So,
drinking, that's going to speed
yeah,
things for you.
it
You know,
is.
life is
Yeah.
precious enough. Like you see all these floods and all these
Oh,
storms
yeah.
for people, it's sad. It just shows us how vulnerable us
Mm-hmm.
human beings are. We're weaklings.
Yeah.
I want to get into your book,
Okay.
the time jumpers. And let me see. I'm going to share.
And Stargates. Yes.
Yeah.
I've got one here. Dave, if you can't find it.
Yeah, I think I can get it here, bring it up. It's in my files, and you can see how deep my files are.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of like a lot of
I've
work.
got it right here. If you
Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. This is what happens when you're doing Zoom. Uh, that's
there you
the
go. Yeah. That
that's
way you can
that's the
see a little bit of it.
that's a
Yeah.
little bit. I got a bigger picture than that, but that's typically what that is. And we might be able to blow it up a little bit. No, I don't know about that, but no, that's the book, Time Jumpers and Stargates.
Right.
That's the big title there. Yeah, it's oh, I know what I've done, Betsy, on this, and this is the problem with Zoom. And I'm going to go to StreamYard. Believe me, I got to because I want to show a lot more pictures. But
Oh,
I'm going to
really?
share. Yeah, yeah. I think showing pictures, and I wanted to show at least the copy of the book. You got one you can hold up. That
Sure.
probably
Yeah,
that'll
I'll do it again.
give it some
See.
background support.
I don't know if you can
Okay.
see it.
Okay. Yeah, you got your background is kind of there. It is.
Yeah. There. Whoops, it's fading in and out.
it's,
Those
it's a
aliens
ghost.
are in the way. Stop it.
Yeah, time jumpers and stargates. Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, people saying, well, Dave modernized a little bit. Go to StreamYard or something. I said, okay, yeah, but I've just been doing this and the share thing is starting to get to me. The share
Yeah.
thing. So you got to go to your files. And then sometimes, and I loaded more files on top of the one that's where I made a mistake. Enough of my stupidity. Uh, Betsy, tell us a little bit about the book. You want me to read off the synopsis? In Time Jumpers and Stargates, discover how time jumpers control the portals and can alter time and space. Read about the legends told by indigenous shamans who entered sacred caves and returned with fantastic stories of distant worlds and strange beings. Those who dared to enter the portals sometimes never returned. Read about the countless people who have disappeared without a trace under mysterious circumstances. Theories suggest those who vanished walked into a dimensional world or portal, never to return to Earth. Maybe you can pick up on that. Indigenous people told us some stories. Tell us about it.
Oh, well, yeah. Even the Tibetan monks have stories that they hid all their texts and sacred things in caves, but they also went into portals with them when they knew the Chinese were going to invade their country of
Mhm.
Tibet. And legends tell of shamans, Native American shamans, who have used these portals for ages. And so they must have known how to enter them and come back. And some people don't know how to do that. They're very unstable. Some are created, and I think that's what the aliens know how to create them. And I
Right.
believe there are portal stargates all over the universe. I mean, you can go to a planet, it'll look like it's devoid of all life or anything. You go into the portal, there's life, there's all kinds of things going on. This is kind of a dimensional thing.
Yeah. You compare portals and Stargate. What is there a difference between portals and Stargate?
Not
We hear,
really.
yeah,
No, and they say wormholes, that they're going through wormholes. On Skinwalker, Dr. Travis Taylor says they are transversible, there we go, wormhole. And that's kind of like um, it's like oh, I don't know how you'd say it. There's a top to it and then it comes down like an hourglass.
right.
And that's what it looks like. So when
Yeah.
you go through it, you go through the tunnel and then you come out to the other side. And that's what happens. But many people have claimed that they have actually gone into another dimension or another time. And I believe that time travel is quite possible. It's people have done it. They say that they're walking, down the street, and all of a sudden they were transported to the 1800s,
Mhm.
and then they were back in the present. And I think sometimes these are portals too that they're jumping into the past. And I don't know how aliens do it. I keep thinking, are they dialing into a certain timeline? How can they do that? And they must know. I mean, they're so intelligent, and
Right.
we haven't been able to capture one, or maybe we have dead ones, according to them. The Greys, I believe, are their little workers, and I believe, we're talking about the Orbs. I believe they're scouts. I got that kind of clearly came through one night when I was kind of like channeling, and I heard the word scouts. They're scouts. They're sentient
Mhm.
beings that watch over us. They are working for the aliens and they watch us every day. We don't even see them up in the sky. There must be
Yeah.
millions of things going through our sky, and they've got cloaking devices just like Star Trek.
Right. I know there's
Yeah.
been a study on dragons. Dr. Robert has been on my show quite a bit, and he
Hmm.
shows you can't see them with your naked eye. It has to be
No.
a camera that kind of can slow them down, and then they kind of look like they're kind of repeated in a fashion like they move so fast, like
Right.
12 miles an hour. But yeah, what about the little orbs we see in our houses? Are those spiritual?
There's
What's the
so many kinds of orbs, but the ones people are seeing are the alien sentient beings. But the one are souls. Sometimes they're souls, sometimes they're animal souls.
Mhm.
My dear sweet cousin captured her cats that passed away. She has them buried in the backyard, and she's got all these orbs going on, and they're running through the bedroom into the bathroom, and the one cat, it was like they were following it. So yeah, orbs can be animals, they can be human spirits. And also the elementals in the forests. I have a friend who went to Muir Woods in California, and she took a picture of the woods, and there's all kinds of orbs coming at her. I'll have to find that and put it on Facebook. It's amazing photos.
I know I've had orbs in my house. my trail camera's infrared picks up on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Mm-hmm.
little orbs, and they move pretty fast, and they
Yeah.
go in circles. And uh, are those spiritual orbs, Betsy?
Yeah, I think so. I
Mm.
think so. Probably family members that you've had pass away.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you feel them around there? Do you
Yeah, I
sense them?
do. I sensed the ETs when they were around me quite a bit here just a few years ago, and I got pictures of some of them. And I've
They
actually
could
put
be
I
ETs
posted,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually posted those pictures, and I got
Mm-hmm.
a big response on them. But of course, you got some people who don't believe, and they'll tear into you, and it's like, okay, if you don't do your research or you don't study on your own, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these things I've seen, I've got witnesses, and I've documented them, but people have to start opening their minds and thinking about
Oh,
what's going
yeah.
on around us. Yeah,
Well, they're
that's
going to have to because things are going to happen very quickly,
right.
and we're going to have proof very soon when they make themselves known in the next year or two. Get ready. It's going to
Uh,
happen.
I think it's going to happen by accident. The ETs will probably trigger it because it seems like our government and the people don't
Oh,
want to have that disclosure
yeah.
just yet.
They
Uh,
don't.
I want to go back to portals. Now, can a portal be a natural phenomena
I
that
think they're
some?
both natural, and I think they're also created by ETs. I
Mhm.
think they have that technology, and that's where the time jumpers come in. They're time travelers and time jumpers. They can jump into different realities, different dimensions. They can change events. And I believe many events have been changed on our earth. When people say the Mandela effect, I think it really exists. That you think something happened or someone died, and you're sure they did, and then you hear that they're still alive, or you see they've been alive for a long time, and you
Yeah.
swear that,
Yeah.
something happened to them. I know those are when we have those time slips, as they call them.
I've had those myself, and I know a
Have
lot of
you?
people who've
Yeah.
been, like you wonder what the heck happened. You go into a daze, and things are really in slow motion, and
Right.
all of a sudden you look at your watch and you're ahead of time sometimes. So I've been ahead of time, but
Yeah, right.
what I'm looking at with these portals, I know Dr. Robert even had a video of a jet taking pictures
Hmm.
of a UFO coming into our planet. And actually, there was a little swirl of smoke in which was a portal. They was
Hmm.
coming in. So they're producing that. But they do something ahead of the spaceship that they have. They they bore a hole with any magnetic or anti
Hmm.
gravity energy, and they bore a hole in front of them, and they travel in that hole themselves.
Yeah.
The technology, I think that's part of it, but that's not the whole thing. But I'd like to know what happens, Betsy, to these people who go into a portal and disappear and don't come back.
Oh
What,
my
what do you
gosh.
think happens?
Well, I think sometimes like the story of Kenny Beach, famous guy that let's see, he disappeared on November 10th of 2014. He lived in Las Vegas and he was always hiking out by Area 51. I've been out there. Of course, you can't get too far into it, but he knew all about the caves out there. He said there's just tons of caves out there. He was a blogger, put all this on his blog, videos and everything, what he was doing. And the last time they saw him was on November 10th of 2014. He did a blog and he has said that he found this cave and he got close to it. He felt very sick. It made him vomit. And he said there this energy from this cave, and he didn't want to go in. He was afraid of it. And everybody was trying to tell him, go back and find it again and go in there and see what it is.
Mhm.
And they think he did. Many of them think that he went. They found his phone, his cell phone, out there, and they found some other items, hiking items, which he had always take with him. But his girlfriend claims that he was suicidal, he was depressed, and others say, no, that's not true. That's not the Kenny they knew. So some people think that either he found something that he shouldn't have that's out there in Area 51, or he went into a portal that's out there and he couldn't get back. I mean, maybe he'll show up someday, you
Yeah,
know, and come
yeah.
through that portal. Who knows? But no, they haven't. They searched the whole area where he is at. days, people have gone out there searching and searching, and no sign of him. He just vanished off the face
That
of the earth, maybe.
that's that book that's called 411. And you're saying here
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of people go missing
Oh,
worldwide each
yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
mysterious. It's mysterious about the cases you wrote about in this book. I guess you have it in this new book. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
I do have cases in there,
Okay. And
plenty of them.
there's been people who just walking in a field. The earliest recorded is about 1880, somewhere in there. There's a guy. He's
Hmm.
the farmer. He walked in the field, and his
I know
wife.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she said he just disappeared, and he
Yeah.
never. She ran out there looking for him, and she couldn't find him.
Right.
Could it be that these UFOs, ETs, are randomly taking and going down with a tractor beam and picking these people up? Uh,
Could be.
could that
That's
be
that's
possible?
possible. I know that there was a story about a cattle mutilation, South America, that Tom Adams told me about. He said the farmer and his son had been hearing these cows really upset, and they went out there and they saw a calf that was just bawling. And they thought, what in the world? And they saw this calf was about a foot off the ground, levitated off the ground and moving vertical off the ground. And all of a sudden, it started going up in the sky. They didn't see anything up in the sky, but it just started going up in the sky and vanished
Yeah.
and screaming all the way up.
Hmm.
So, that's there's something going on there, and that's possible. Their beams, whatever, Travis Walton, one of the most famous UFO encounters and abductions, he claimed that he was brought up in a beam of some kind of light.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It
get
was
beamed
like
aboard like Scotty, beam me aboard, right?
he said it was kind of like staticky electricity that he felt
Yeah.
that came up. I'm thinking with these indigenous tribes out west, and you mentioned Sedona here, and
Mm,
that's one of my favorite places. I picked up some stories in my book for that.
yeah.
There's a military presence there, and hikers claim that they have been threatened by gun-toting military soldiers in a
Yes.
certain canyon area. Tell us
Yes.
what the people are reporting there. Can you tell us a little bit about
Well,
that?
it's pretty crazy. This couple that goes out there all the time, they were interviewed, um, and they told about these military men in fatigues. There's no insignia on them, and they
Mhm.
have M16s on them. They threatened them to get out of this area. They were in a canyon area. They weren't on private land or anything. It's all BLM land. And they said that people, and they have seen it, they've seen orbs flying in there and disappearing in this canyon. And why the military is there, no one knows. I mean, there's no reason for them to be there. They've had all kinds of things, cattle mutilations in that area. Um, they've just had all kinds of things going on that are just kind of like Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh,
And so people have disappeared in the area. Who knows what's going on, but what is the military doing in there? Why are they so secretive?
I heard they have a base there, and it's underground,
Underground, deep
under one of
underground.
the mountains. And I heard that they work with ETs there
Yeah,
in the Sedona
yeah,
area, outside of Sedona, not in Sedona
yeah.
proper.
I
But
believe that too. Reptilians.
yeah, I drove back there to a certain extent, but I didn't go to that ranch. I forget what the name of that ranch is, and the U.S. government bought all that land up from the rancher.
Bradshaw Ranch?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the Bradshaw. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so they got
Right.
out of it because the military offered them pretty good money, and they just took it. But the
Yeah,
military
they
would have
took it.
taken,
Yeah, they
yeah, they
just
would have,
took it.
yeah, they would have took it anyway. Said, "Here's your money.
Yeah,
We own it now."
yeah.
They wanted to clear away in order to have a protective perimeter around their base
Hmm.
that they're underground, along with these ETs. And I
Right.
also heard in Sedona, I heard some people say that they've seen soldiers with these blue helmets.
Oh,
That's those are UN soldiers.
oh,
And
really?
yeah, what are UN soldiers doing there?
Yeah. What are they doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just want to. Maybe there's other countries involved in putting this all together. Who knows?
I
But
believe, sorry for interrupting, I believe that there are tunnels all over the Southwest that
Mhm.
lead, from Skinwalker all over. And I think some of these booms that people have heard is actually they're digging under there for deeper tunnels and bases. And I
Mhm.
believe aliens are down there. The Greys and the reptilians are working with the military. And I think that's why they don't want us knowing. If our country knew that our military was working with the bad aliens, I don't think they're good aliens. They're doing genetic experiments on humans. I mean, they're just taking people, that have they just want, and who knows why they take them. Some are actually killed, and
Mhm.
that's where they disappear. And others, they are returned, but people say that they're afraid. They're so afraid that something's going to happen soon. And who knows? Is
Yeah,
it going to be like War of the Worlds? They
yeah.
come and invade us? I hope not, but
I don't think they're going to invade it. They would have done it a long time ago, Betsy. The
yeah,
indigenous people, the Indians, the Hopi. I talked to a lady out there. She's an elderly lady, and I was asking her about these skinwalkers. Well,
yeah,
I mentioned the skinwalker. Her eyes got
shapeshifters.
real, yeah. She got her eyes got real big, and she turned away from me and walked away real fast.
Oh, they
And
don't want to talk about them.
no, they don't. And that's what a young Indian,
No.
he said, no, don't go to the older people and talk to them. They will not talk about it. The other thing
Mm.
on Dulce, I went to Dulce. I was taking a trip around all that area.
Oh,
I
I got
went,
a story for you.
hey, I went into this filling station. There was two Apache young guys. They must have been
Hmm.
in their early 20s. They were big, really big guys.
Hmm.
And I asked them, I said, have you guys seen UFOs? The one brother, there was two brothers. One brother looked at me kind of funny and walked away and got what I wanted to get. And the other brother stood there and he looked at me and said, yeah, we see them on the reservation all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And I said, what's going on here in the mountain of Dulce? He says, I won't say. They're
Yeah.
scared. They're
Sure.
actually afraid because they're on these
Sure.
reservations and the military's all over the place there. But the
Hmm.
place creeped me out, Betsy.
I
I felt
bet.
that negative energy.
Really?
I got out of there. Yes. I got my
It's a
gas
good
and
thing. They might have grabbed you, Dave.
yeah. So could you tell us some stories about Dulcie?
Yeah. Well, Thomas Costello worked there as a security officer. I think it was in the late 1970s, early 1980s. And he said that there are levels. It's like a wheel, and each level has going on different experiments, genetic experiments. But he said that there's one where they say that the insane are, that they put these people in experiment on them, horrible experiments.
Mhm.
And he said that this one kid that he saw, that he recognized him as missing in one of the towns. And he was supposed to be insane, according to the military that were working there. And he says, no, 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 no. He knew, but they told him he better keep quiet or else. And he's always feared for his life. And what he saw, he had photos which they confiscated.
Mhm.
And, it sounds incredible. I know it just sounds too weird to be true, but it's true.
Yeah. I think
He,
there's a lot of basis for it, some of these stories that
hmm
we have. But for me, I want to move on into, the psychology of it. Like I said, I want to do some shows at Deep Think and this organization that I'm be working with, they're
hmm
doing the same thing. Uh, you say here you believe that some of the people abducted by ETs have been mind controlled by our
Yes,
own secret military.
I
M-
believe that.
MIC,
Yeah.
military industrial
Well,
complex people.
MK Ultra, it goes back to many different experiments that have been going on with our military. I don't trust them at all.
Yeah.
But they have done a lot of different things, using drugs on people, um, you know, taking children and mind controlling them. And And if they have reached a point where they can really control people, they can make them think that they have seen aliens or been abducted when it's them that are doing the abductions. I'm not saying all UFO, but I think a lot of these stories, especially in certain areas where military bases are located,
Mhm.
seems like a lot of these abductions, like North Carolina, Chris Bledsoe is
Mhm.
in Fayette, and just above him, about 20 miles away, is a military base, and he's been abducted many times and has seen all these orbs. So it makes you wonder, there's something to that.
Yeah. I've had some I guess you can call marks or wounds, little holes in my legs, and I've had them throughout my life, like three holes together.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I just got it. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. There's a red line, if you can see just
Yeah,
a little.
I see that. I see
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
there's a red line. I got cut. It wasn't a cut. I didn't even know what happened. I was actually sitting here at the computer and doing some work and probably putting your guest material together. And I looked at my hand and there was some bubbles of blood that popped up. And I thought, I
Oh
never
my
heard that.
God.
I never heard it, And I talked to Steve Mera, who's a really sharp guy.
Hmm.
He said it could be, some evil spirits that cut me, but it looks like a laser mark.
It does. It does.
I've seen laser marks
Hmm.
before. I got abducted when I was 14. It was in my genitals, and I saw it about an inch long.
Mm.
And this is an inch long. I measured exactly an inch long, and it's not healed up all the way, but there's no scab to it. There didn't
Mm.
wasn't a scab. There was blood that popped out of it. But yeah,
I've got something too to tell you about.
go ahead, Betsy.
Well,
You're the guest. You can interrupt me anytime.
sorry. My thumbnail, this thumbnail on my right hand, um, all of a sudden, about 5 or 6 months ago, there's like some kind of coating on there, like in plastic. It's so hard. I've tried to get it off with polish remover. It won't come off. I mean, it's made my nails so hard. It's like stone. And I saw a dermatologist yesterday and I asked him, what is this? He says, oh, it's polish. I said, no, it's not polish. I don't have any polish on there. It's smooth and shiny and clear. And I said, can you get a scraping of it or something so we could find out what this thing is? Because it just showed up one day and it's like growing out of my skin. It's growing out from the nail bed, whatever it is. Am I producing plastic, clear plastic? I know I've
I
got a lot of stuff in me, a lot of titanium, but I don't know about the plastic part.
do too. I have a titanium, but this mind control and the MIC, military industrial complex, back engineering ETs. ETs are showing them how to do this, and they actually can turn invisible and walk through walls. I guess
Hmm.
our people can do that,
They're
and they come in.
dimensional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they come in and they take blood samples or whatever the ETs do, and they're practicing at it, and now they have a record of their own. But I have a on mind control. Are they doing the mind control? Uh, I guess while you're sleeping, or can they do it any time of day,
I think
Betsy?
they too. I think our military's got so many things that they've taken from the aliens in them, this technology too, to abduct people, to make them believe that it's aliens. And I think maybe even children have been abducted by the military for these experiments a long time ago. And I think a lot of it involves time travel too. Children have been taken for these timeline type experiments, jumping into different timelines, and I think actually changing some of the things when they jump.
Yeah, I we all would like to go time traveling and see, the most famous things and but I don't know how far. They said that CERN, that big thing they got in
Oh,
France,
yeah.
they said
Yeah.
that has revealed quite a bit.
Hmm.
They've actually communicated with entities through that, with that the energy they stir up there. But
Right. Right.
and so I don't know if that's dangerous or not. I mean, bringing in these entities, they're here. They know we're at most of them. I guess we
Oh,
got
sure.
something like 56 that we know of, and there's a lot more, ET races out
Yeah.
there.
Some are
Uh,
benevolent, some care about us, some don't. They view us as lab rats. Um, I think they're here for our souls, some of them. They
yeah,
don't have souls and they want our souls. We're different. Humans are different. And we have beautiful souls that they want to take from
they
us.
they can't,
They
Betsy. They
can't. No, they can't. They can try, but I'm sure they've tried, but they can't.
Yeah, there's been stories of people who were abducted or they're being approached by ETs and they would cry out Jesus, or like
Hmm.
I did twice during an abduction.
Did that help?
Yes, oh God, help me. And that stopped. I heard that they cannot. They cannot mess with your soul. And once you get that afraid and you start using God, they
Sure.
know what we mean by God.
Right.
They might have their own, they probably know more about who God really is than we do.
True.
I know he's the source of all energy. That is, or she. It could be a she.
Hmm.
I'm not saying either way, but what are they trying to mind control? What do you think they're putting in our heads, Betsy?
I think that they want to control us. Look at the kids now these days. I mean, they're going for a communist mayor in New York City. I mean, look at how things have changed so quickly and suddenly. I think a lot of these kids are actually mind controlled. And it's kind of like the Jim Jones thing. They're drinking that Kool-Aid, and it's,
Yeah,
bad things are happening out there. And
yeah,
we've got to watch it before we know it. Our country's going to be overtaken. And I think that aliens are behind it too.
hmm
The bad
yeah,
aliens,
yeah.
not the
I,
benevolent ones.
yeah. I think what's going on. Let me go back to the cattle mutilations. I have a
Hmm.
theory that if ETs are doing it, and I think they are,
I
and
do
the
too.
military are practicing it too. But
Hmm.
my theory is that whenever these ETs take genetic materials from these cattle, they're actually taking it and growing it in their own labs on board ship, and they're taking
Yes.
it back to other planets that have human beings. We're not the only human beings in the galaxy or in
Right.
the universe.
Yeah,
So
that
they
makes
might
sense. Yeah.
they might be supporting another human
Hmm.
race or trying to
Yeah.
grow a human race by using the food
Hmm.
we're using. Betsy, that's my thought about that.
That's interesting. But there are benevolent ETs out there that want to help us and have helped us.
Mhm.
Ooh, aliens. They're very tall. They're close to 8, 9, 10 feet tall. They're more of a holographic looking being. They're not solid, but they can make themselves look solid. And they've saved people in wars like the Vietnam War. They were over there, and a man, one of the soldiers, was fighting, and he got on his hands and knees and he prayed for help, and he was saved by this blue being. And nobody knows how he survived because the rest of his, troop were all killed.
Mhm.
So he said a blue being, he was Native American. And these Native Americans have been in touch with all these different types of beings that come here.
Yeah. I
See, there's something about their genetic, makeup that they want.
I can't figure out. They're saying now that we could be a matrix and
Hmm.
we could be hologram or
Hmm.
holographic. What are your thoughts on that, Betsy, that you've learned?
Absolutely. I think it's like an onion. We're in an onion, and there's all the different levels, all the different, peel back the skin each time, and a different dimension, interdimensional reality, parallel worlds. I mean, it goes on and on. I think, you know, this isn't a real world. We think it is,
Yeah.
but it isn't. I mean, it's just a holographic image. And I think we're all a part of this God image. We're in God's mind, and we can do anything out there. Anything can be done or experienced or built or technology. You know, it's limited,
Mm.
limitless. There we go.
What what did you think about last December, January in New York, New Jersey when they had all these sightings and the
Oh, the
government,
drones? Yeah,
yeah, the government didn't do anything about them. They said they were FAA approved and they weren't our enemy. That's what they said. So
right.
that did calm my nerves because I saw a lot of
No,
this, and a lot of this film is real. These
yeah.
people are real just filming this stuff. And what do you think was going on there, Bessie?
I think there was some ETs involved in some of those things,
Mhm.
and they tried to cover it up and just say they were, drones, kids out there playing with drones. But no, I don't think so. I think there was more to it. That's why the cover up. Anytime there's a cover up, there's more to it.
Yeah, they flew over
There's a conspiracy behind
yeah,
it.
they flew over military bases, and I don't
Yeah,
think young kids or
they did.
commercial droners would actually do that.
No,
Uh,
they wouldn't. No.
but I heard they tried to shoot them down with these
Hmm.
frequency guns. A real
Yeah.
bulky looking gun, that they can shoot and interrupt the radio frequency of the drone,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll drop because it has no more control.
Yeah.
But they tried that with a lot of them. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Like half of them were ETs and maybe half of them were ours just to cover things up. That's what I've been thinking. Uh, Now, what did you talk to some of these indigenous people out west, Betsy?
I've talked to a couple of people, but no, Dr. Artie Six Killer wrote about them. And I started writing about it because she had a stroke and she can't write again ever. She's had so many experiences and so many more stories to tell, and she'll never be able to tell them again, which is such a shame. She was an incredible writer, and because she was part Native American, she was able to talk to all these people, that wouldn't usually talk to people,
Mhm.
unless you are Native American, indigenous. And she was able to get in there, talk to them about their stories. And it seems like the aliens go there because they're on reservations. They're out in you know, in nowhere land.
Mhm.
And, people don't know what's going on. They can land there, they can abduct them, they can do whatever they want. And that's what's been going on for decades now.
Right.
You know,
And
they
that's
they
your
call them the star beans, but I don't know if they're so benevolent,
Mhm.
taking people like they do, and not with their permission. I mean, they just steal people, abduct them.
And do they go underground into the bunkers that the reptilians have, and also,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
some think they are. Some think that there are deep underwater bases like off Catalina. Catalina has some of the deepest part of the ocean there. And these areas, they think, probably have a base. They see them in our military has seen them dive in the water at incredible speeds and come out of the water. And people that live around Catalina, there's so many sightings there. In fact, my good friend Ann Druffel, MUFON, she was part of MUFON. She said that she would go there with her mother and sit on the beach and they'd look out at Catalina and they could see these UFOs. It looked like maybe there was a cloud out there sitting there
Mhm.
over the island, and all of a sudden, light coming out of it, and it would transform into a UFO. She watched that all the time with her mother. So that's going on too. Catalina is a big hot spot for UFOs, and
Mhm.
they've seen them diving in the ocean there.
Now, you were talking about, you covered in your books that these orbs are worldwide, and there's a
Yes.
network of them. Betsy, could you tell us what you think they're trying to find out about us?
Well, I think they're reporting on us and everything that's going on. I call them the scouts. If there's any kind of experiments going on, like at Skinwalker, they're there. Um, yeah, they're watching us, but it's increasing. And that's what are they up to? They're up to something. And Chris Bledsoe believes that, we're going to have a new knowledge come to us in the next 2 years that's going to be given to us. He is so convinced of that. But you've talked Marisol Smiley, and
Yeah.
she says that some horrible things are going to happen, geological things to Earth. And she sees buildings falling and huge things happening. She's amazing. Um, and I think maybe these things are going to happen because I dreamed about a child when I was just 6, 7 years old, after I had that UFO encounter that followed me home one day from
Yeah.
school. I was so scared. But I started having these dreams, recurring dreams for
What did
nights. I had,
what did this craft look like, Betsy?
well, it was a silver disc up there. It was just hovering up in the sky, and whenever I moved, it would move with me. And I would run, I would hide in some bushes. And here's the really freaky thing: there was a busy street there, and my mother told me never to cross it, which I didn't. But that day I did. Somehow I got across the street, and I don't even remember crossing. And I went to this house, and I opened the door and got in and went and hid under a bed. Now, I don't even know how I got there, how I got under the bed, but somehow I got out. The people never came home, and somehow I was back home again. So I think I might have been abducted.
We, yeah, I've been confused as a kid too. The first time I was 13 and I saw this
Hmm.
and I ended up in my bed, but I couldn't feel my legs. I don't know what was
Oh,
I was
wow. You're paralyzed. Yeah.
yeah. But that there's a faint memory of what I saw and I looked up, I was sitting in the backyard, but
Hmm.
you can't figure out what's going on a lot of times. They erase your mind. They take out things they don't
Oh,
want you to remember,
yeah.
and that's true. And then they leave tidbits in there to let you know, hey,
Hmm.
go out and start telling everybody else that there are such things as ETs. I think
Hmm.
sometimes they want us to. Is that how you feel, Betsy, when you're writing all your books and they're wanting you? There's something that's pushing you to get this out.
I think so. I've always felt that. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm watched all the time. That's
Yeah.
okay. I think, loved ones, I've been saved so many times. I know that I have, guardian angels or spirit guides that watch over me. I mean, I shouldn't be here today with all the things. If I told you all the things that have happened to me,
Yeah.
near-death experiences, and of course, I don't remember going through any kind of light or tunnel or anything. It was just something that saved me. Car crashes. It didn't happen. Should have been a head-on collision when my husband and I were going to Tahoe to get married on this horrible highway in Nevada. And this car all of a sudden swerved over in the lane and was headed directly for us. And I was driving. Something told me to drive that day. And I always listened to that little voice. And
Mhm.
sure enough, I got over as far as I could, took my foot off the pedal, and there was no way to pull off totally off the road. There was just an embankment, a ditch there. So I got over as far as I could, and my husband said that car missed us by just an inch, and it
Yeah.
just kept going down the wrong way. And I thought, oh dear God, he's going to hit somebody head on. And nothing was reported. And our cell service didn't work out there. So that was even worse. And we got into Tahoe, or actually into Reno, and I called the nearest town and I said, was there a head-on collision? And she goes, no, why? And I told her there was a guy driving down the wrong side of the road.
I had a funny experience. Not funny. It was kind of scary. We were driving, wife and I were driving out around on a country road in the intersection, a small town there in Illinois, and I pulled out of the intersection. It's a country road,
Hmm.
mind you. I looked both ways. I usually am very cautious. I was at a stop sign, and I looked to the right. I didn't see nothing. As soon as I pulled out, a car shot real quick right in front of us, and it just, I
Oh
guess,
my
we missed
gosh.
by about a foot. And I took an evasive action, turned to the left a little bit to to get a steer away, but
Hmm.
we were close. But it was kind of like he was this whatever whoever was driving so fast, and then I followed it down the road, and it went down another road. And it's gone. I didn't see it no more. I was always wondering, could these things be dimensional that comes into our dimension
Oh,
like
sure. Sure,
something?
I think so. And I think we all have guardian angels or spirit guides that watch over us and protect us. And when it's not our time to go, we don't go until it's the right time. I think people are saved, and that's why they're saved. They have more to accomplish, like you, you
Yes,
know.
they're keeping me pumping there, that's for sure. But I
Yeah.
hope they're not. I hope these spies or these alphabet people. I hope they're not watching me all the time because when I was prepping for my
Maybe.
colonoscopy the other day, I hope they wasn't
Oh
watching me.
no. Well, they probably are, but
You talk about a probing, man.
well, you know what Whitley Strieber went through then.
Yeah, but I don't remember being probed by aliens that in that
No, I
way.
don't either.
I
No.
know I know they've taken blood and semen samples and of course read my mind, uploaded me and things of that nature. I know that. But I'm not, not too sure about everything else. But a lot of things
Hmm.
you just don't remember. Sometimes they come in regress dreams. That's where I find out all my information. Now, you let's talk about this Chaco Canyon, pronounced Chaco Canyon, of course,
Chaco, right. Correct.
and what they experienced in uh, Anasazi ruins.
Yeah,
These are
right.
the remote viewers who hike.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about this story, Betsy?
Yeah, it happened in the 1980s, which is kind of interesting. And let me see, I'll get the names here. Chaco Canyon. There was David Morehouse, Ed Dames, you've probably heard that name a lot from Coast to Coast, and Art Bell, and Mel Riley. And they decided to take a little trip to Chaco Canyon, and that's in the northern Mexico area with all these ruins out there. And what's really strange about the Anasazi is they kind of vanished. No one knows where they went. It was it climate that they left that area? They just disappeared, or did they go into a portal? But anyway, they all heard about this portal that's down there, and they wanted to see if they could capture anything, and they didn't. Of course, there was no cell phones back then in the 1980s. We didn't have cameras or things like that, and they didn't take anything with them. And they went to different places. They met up with a Native American on the road, and he told them where to go to see all these weird things up in the sky, and so they did. But it wasn't until they went to let's see, they went to where was it? Um, Pueblo Alto is where they spent the night. The first night, this is what happened. It was so weird. It was late at night, and they're looking up at the sky, and all of a sudden, the stars were gone. They described it as like someone put cellophane over the entire sky,
Mm.
and they heard this noise, this humming noise, and they watched it for a while, and then it would disappear, and then it would come back, this whole thing. And they felt it was a portal of some kind, Stargate, because they've seen so many spiral petroglyphs in the area, and they say Native Americans drew these to say that's where the portals are. But it happened the last time they went there, the next night they went, it lasted for 15 minutes, this phenomenon. And they still don't know what they were seeing, but they said it was the most incredible thing. They were looking at a portal. So if it opens up like that at a certain time of the year, maybe under certain conditions, I think like the Bermuda Triangle, um, I noticed that when certain people have vanished there, like those military planes, it was around the same time. I think it was December. And remember the guy that actually said he saw what the portal was that he was going into, and he actually flew through it? That
Mm-hmm.
happened around the same time. So this portal must open up about that time, around December.
So those are natural
So don't
portals?
go,
Like,
yeah, well, yeah, I think they're natural ones.
mm,
But Edgar Casey, the late Edgar Casey, said that there's a giant crystal that went down with Atlantis, and that, uh, great big crystal is activated certain times of the year. And I think that causes a portal there. And these people, these ships,
mm,
planes have disappeared in that portal. And they
mhm.
still haven't found, what are they, Avenger planes that went down, I think, and
Right.
sent a rescue team out, and they disappeared. So well, they couldn't have all gone down. And there should have been some sign. No one's ever found them.
You talk about mysterious disappearances. You have Kenny Veck, Veach or whatever, at
Yeah.
Area 51. He disappeared at Area 51, Betsy?
Yeah, that's the one I told you about.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning that he vanished. He was a blogger.
Okay.
And yeah, he was the one that disappeared on November, what was it I said, November 10th, 2014. And
Yeah, I
they've
didn't.
never found his body.
I didn't. I didn't. I
They
didn't connect Area 51 a while
Yeah, it
ago.
was Area 51 that he was near. He couldn't go on Area 51 because they have patrols and everybody else out there. They call them the camo dudes. If you
Yeah.
go out there, they're there in a second and with their
I
guns and all drawn.
Even if you're on the road on the outside, you park
Hmm.
there, they'll drive by you and they'll
Oh
sniff you
yeah.
and give you a dirty look. I've
Oh,
had
they
that,
Yeah,
you know.
I've been there too. Yeah, my husband and I were there, and it was so cold. The only thing we saw was a bunch of longhorn cows going across the highway. We almost hit them going about 70 miles an hour. And my husband went past all these cows, longhorns, just barely missed them. That was another thing. I don't know how we missed those darn cows. I mean,
Mm.
can you imagine hitting a longhorn going at 70 miles an hour? I don't think we'd be around.
Well, they're pretty good size. They're bigger than
Mm-hmm.
deer, that's for sure. I was there at Area 51 at the
Mm-hmm.
Groom Lake Road. We watched. We had a sky watch that night from a convention. We had in Alamo, Nevada.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we were watching. I saw orbs go up and then come back down.
Mm,
Yeah,
wow,
that's the
incredible.
thing I saw. But orbs, what can you prove?
Orbs.
Yeah, you don't know if they're mechanical or what they're. Can you believe we're up to an hour and this is what you wanted to do? So, could you tell us how we can get a hold of your information and your book?
Sure. It's betseylewis.com, and Betsey has that extra E in it, Betsey, Lewis, Lewis.com. Got a blog that I post all these weird things on, and my predictions. I do a prediction book every year that's really popular. It's been a bestseller every time I write one, and I've made a lot of things. I've got a lot of correct predictions. But anyway, they can reach me there, and you can see my books. Most of my books are on there.
Okay, that's
So
great.
contact me if you
You've
have any
been.
questions. I do readings, psychic readings.
I'll put this in a narrative, and uh,
Okay.
you have an email that you use commercially, or
Yeah, they can write me at Betsey@betseylewis.com or
okay.
info@betseylewis.com. Either one is fine.
All right.
Yeah, but thank you, Dave. You're great to talk to.
No,
Always great.
it's always fun to talk to, and we at so it's something that I look at all the work that you've done, and I can appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
sometimes I get tired. I don't know what it is. It, you get winded trying to tell people the
Yeah.
truth there. And another statement, I was in combat in Vietnam and I didn't see anything weird because there's so many bullets and tracers in the air and
Oh,
so many
yeah.
things going on that you couldn't tell if it was a UFO or not. And of course, I ate a lot of dirt over there, staying away from bullets. But
Ooh,
so
I bet.
you do that, but I didn't see anything unusual over there in Vietnam.
Mm,
Uh, you know, I just there's certain times when you see them. They pick when they want to be shown.
right, right.
They only show you what they want you to see.
Yeah.
They're so far superior than us that we're just nothing.
Amazing. Yeah, they can pick up vibes. And like Chris Bledsoe that wrote UFO of God, he's in touch with them. There's some kind of telepathy going on between he and the orbs, just like Marisol
Mhm.
Smiley. She can, produce them too. She can connect with them. And that's been going on since she was a child. So
Mm.
I think certain people are star seeds. They can actually communicate with these orbs. And I
Yeah.
hopefully they're benevolent. I hope so.
I know Marisol also has a lot of good pictures and that
She does amazing pictures.
she
Right.
seems she
She
can
she's
attract
captured them.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She attracts them.
she's been on the show, and she's
Yeah.
afraid of what her friends or family might think. A lot of people are like that. They don't
No,
want
you
to come
shouldn't be, who cares? They're going to wake up one of these days and know it's true.
right. But I wish they'd quit messing with my cars.
Yeah. Right.
See some weird
Well,
things.
thank you, Dave. It's
Thank
been
you.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
and thanks everybody for listening and watching the show with Betsey
Take
Lewis.
care. Thank
And
you.
I'm sure we'll have her back when she gets to about her 50th book.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Betsey
See you
Lewis,
then.
you've been listening to the Strange Reality Show with Dave Emmons. Good night, all, and have a pleasant night and a good sleep. Bye bye.